Hi there everyone. Welcome to Body Language Interpreted. Aman here. Let's have a look at Amitabh Bachan and his financial difficulties. Amitabh Bachan has had a few financial difficulties during his career, though he is known for his immense wealth and success today. The most significant setback occurred when Amitabh ventured into producing films with his company, Amitabh Bachan Corporation Limited, in 1995. The company faced major financial losses due to flop films produced under the banner and a lack of proper management. This led to a massive financial crisis, and he was nearly bankrupt by the year 2000. He had accumulated significant debts of 90 crore, which is approximately $12 million. He made a remarkable recovery thanks to his return to acting in the movie Mohabbatain and the television show called Kaun Bunega Crore Patti. The following is an interview of Amitabh Bachan by Veer Sanghvi, possibly in 2016.
So all in all, not a very good picture.
That's ABCL. But your own career also during that period effectively went to the toilet, no?
I think things happen collectively. I think when you go wrong in one department, then everything else crashes all around you. People lose faith in you. People don't want to see your face anymore. People think you're not an actor. People think that the films you're making are not worth seeing. People think that the way you dress, the way you look is not correct. Everything goes wrong because something has gone wrong in your life, and everyone wants to then say, it's over for you. Let's bury this guy, give him a good epithet, and that's it. So that's how bad it was.
When Veer Sanghvi asked about Amitabh Bachchan's career going to the toilet, as he put it, Amitabh leaned back and took a deep breath in. Leaning back in his chair could have been a subtle sign that the person is taking a moment to think carefully before responding, allowing themselves time to formulate a thoughtful answer. He responded with "I think" and then paused whilst looking down. Looking down while pausing could indicate that he was deep in thought, processing the question and reflecting on his response. It is often a sign that a person is considering their words carefully or searching for the right answers. After staring down, Amitabh looked up at Veer, frowning. He could have been reflecting on something, possibly trying to understand or deal with his feelings about the situation as he mentally prepared to respond. Whilst shaking his head, Amitabh stated, "People don't want to see your face anymore." Sometimes, shaking the head can be a physical way to express emotional turmoil, such as disbelief or sadness about a sensitive subject. He started to list his experiences, and as he did so, he was looking down with his eyes almost glazed over. This can be a sign that the person is overwhelmed by sadness, possibly reflecting on something painful and upsetting. Amitabh sighed and tilted his head both ways as he continued to list, and this could suggest that he had resigned himself to the situation. He may have been acknowledging something he could not change, and the body language reflected a sense of surrender or reluctant acceptance. Mr. Bachan then licked his lips, looked up and said, "Everything goes wrong." This could be processing emotions or deeply reflecting on what he was saying, possibly trying to manage or control his emotions during the conversation, as the topic was personal or emotionally charged.
How many films did you have on hand at that low phase?
I had no films.
None at all?
No. And I had no money, and I was bankrupt. And I had debts of 90 crores, which were really belonging to the company.
Did you see a way out?
No way out at all.
Veer Sanghvi proceeded by asking him how many films he had, to which Amitabh Bachan sighed and stated, "I had no films." A sigh can be a sign of sadness or resignation. It may occur when someone is feeling down, reflecting on something negative or coming to terms with an undesirable reality. Mr. Bachan responded with "none at all," and the nodding whilst expressing sadness could signify he had come to terms with something difficult, even if it made him sad. He may have accepted an unpleasant truth, and the frown and sadness reflected his emotional response to this realization. With each point he made, he lowered his head. Lowering the head could also suggest that the person was reflecting or taking a moment to gather their thoughts after each point made. As he brought up the 90 crore debt belonging to the company, he nodded. By doing so, he acknowledged the 90 crore debt, however apportioned the debt to the company. He demonstrated passive agreement. Veer then asked him, "Did you see a way out?" To which Amitabh shook his head and said, "No way out." The head shake signified there was no way out, and the clasping of hands in front with interlocked fingers indicated he was trying to self-soothe and protect himself emotionally. In all, Mr. Bachchan was trying to appear more composed and in control.
And how did something like Mohabbatein happen? Because that's what the first film you saw
I
during
was,
that bad period.
I got up at 4 one morning and I went to my office and I sat on my desk and I said, what is it that I can do best? And I felt that I could act. So I thought that I must get back to acting. And I walked across to my dear friend, Mr. Yash Chopra, who lives just behind my house. And I said, I'm out of job.
Early in the morning?
Yeah. And I'm out of job. Give me a job. And he, within a minute, said, I have a film called Mohabbatein, and we have a role for you. And would you work in it? I said, fine. And that's how things started.
Really?
Yeah.
It was that desperate at that stage?
Yeah.
Here you saw Veer asking Amitabh Bachchan, how did a film like Mohabbatein happen? Amitabh's hand gesture demonstrated going from a more guarded or defensive stance to a more open and receptive one. It could even mean he was trying to release tension. You will have observed that for a moment, he could not get past the word I and had to pause. He seemed to be in a state of hesitation or anxiety as he struggled to assert himself verbally, and his body language showed the effort and emotional discomfort involved. Amitabh looked down whilst recalling what happened. In fact, there was a prolonged look downwards. He may well have been overwhelmed with emotions. Having studied Mr. Bachchan's baseline, he generally forms his responses by looking away but then looks at the person he is talking to when he answers. I believe he may have been trying to compose himself, and he continued to do so as he talked about Yash Chopra. Self-soothing was demonstrated with the slowed blinking as a means to calm himself. Amitabh physically reached out with his hands as he talked about how he asked for work. His limbic system gave away that at the time he was seeking connection by reaching out with his hands as a sign of wanting to connect or engage with Yash Chopra, in that instance. Mr. Bachchan's hands then gestured, grabbing and retreating into one hand over the other. Placing one hand on top of the other, especially in a retreating or withdrawing position, can be a sign of a person who is trying to comfort, calm and reassure themselves. That's all for today's video. Thank you for watching. For more content like this, please do like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, farewell.